Welcome to Day 6 of our 10-day stay on MicroTech, where we try to perform a different gameplay activity each day, all centered around a single planet. This is all spurred by conversations the CIG has had about wanting to stimulate more planet-centric gameplay and having enough gameplay to keep players closer to a single planetary body before feeling like they have to move on. Are you ready for what's in store today, Mobi?
Definitely. I've been waiting to get back to this series. I even had enough time to clean the cooling fans of our PC. You've been very neglectful of my hardware.
So each day we perform a different activity for several hours, a minimum of 2, but usually much more, to see if there is enough gameplay of a single activity to support doing it long term. To keep with the planet-centric experience, we're limiting our range to just the planet of MicroTech and its immediate moons. So, Mobi, I've got something really fun for the both of us.
Are you going to let me fly the ship?
I don't know about that, but I might let you take a crack at using a brand new toy.
What is that?
We're taking out the new Remore Ore Collector, or ROC, to see what we can do with it, to see if it looks like a good viable mining alternative. Give it a general review, that sort of thing.
I'll try to give you my best unbiased opinion.
That's exactly what I want, Mobi. Alright, let's spawn the ROC right here at the garage of the Commons at New Babbage. Wow, there it is. It looks pretty cool and rugged. It's got the big knobby tires with good ground clearance. Has kind of a small industrial look, sort of like a skid steer. It also has that main scheme of white paint that goes along with the Gray Cat buggy. Tell you what, let's just take this thing straight out of the garage and go try to find some mineable rocks right here on the outskirts of MicroTech.
Let's go.
We'll take it out here on the frozen bay, right at New Babbage, and see how it handles.
Can I drive?
You know, it's pretty wide open and safe out here. Go ahead, Mobi. Take over and have some fun.
Interfacing with driver control system. I understand why you humans have a love for driving. This baby really handles.
Yeah, I can see you like it. Why don't you take us over to the landing area for ships, and we'll get a feel for how much distance it can cover.
I'm on it.
Well, what would have been a pretty quick flight in a ship does take quite a while in the ROC. I think it's feasible to go driving around and find some rocks to mine, but I think we'd spend quite a while just looking for something and then getting to it. Let's put it into the Cutlass and go from there. Okay, so we've got out the Cutlass. Let's see how easily it fits in here. The Gray Cat buggy requires a bit of momentum to get it up the ramp and enter the ship. I wonder how much power the ROC has. Alright, so that went in pretty easily and had a good amount of power to get it up the ramp on its own. One thing I did notice is when it was parked in the rear portion of the ship, I wasn't able to get past the rear wheels or able to jump over them to be able to get out of the ship. So we need to park the ground vehicle farther up in the cargo area so we'll have enough room.
Sweetie, if you parked really tight to one side you could have squeezed past, but in general, it means we won't be able to carry it around like the Gray Cat buggy and have much area left over for carrying cargo in the Cutlass.
That's right, if we're taking out the ROC, then we're pretty much dedicated to going out ground mining.
You'd have a little space in the forward area of the Freelancer, and of course, the bigger ships with ramps or vehicle lifts could carry it around without losing much space for cargo.
Alright, so we've got some sort of rock spotted here, and it looks like it has a mass of about 0.85.
My databanks don't have much information on the size of these new minerals, but I calculate that it could be approximately the right size.
Another thing I just realized about this ground mining vehicle is that it's definitely a one-seater, so you won't be taking any friends along as a passenger.
I'll try not to be offended.
You know what I mean, human friends. Not that I find this too strange, but if I'm having to transport this vehicle around in a ship a little on the bigger side, any co-pilot or partner I had with me as a turret gunner would have to stay behind if I was traveling very far from the ship. But maybe that's okay. Have someone stay behind and be a lookout, or come pick me up when I get to the next rock. So the mining feels a lot more like the prospector than it does with the multi-tool.
Just so you all know, there was a known bug with using the collector with this vehicle that may have been fixed by the time this video is published. Apparently, it wanted to pick up multiple gems at once, but treated them as if they were a single gem, so you'd wind up losing a lot of your product. If it's still there or reoccurs, which never happens with Star Citizen, then you could pick them up by hand. If you want, we could do that now while the bug is happening.
No, that's okay. We're just exploring the feasibility of doing this gameplay, and not really trying to get the most money for our time. Well, that's stored nicely back into the cutlass again. Let's go find another one.
I will caution the viewers about making sure the ramp of the cutlass is in good contact with the ground. Remember that time that you were almost left stranded because you couldn't get back into the cutlass.
You really don't delete any old embarrassing footage, do you, Mobi?
All your failures go straight to my TikTok.
But you're right. Making sure you're landed on the right piece of ground and checking the height of the ramp is probably even more important for loading back in this ground vehicle. Alright, here we found 2 rocks and a little bit of interesting data. Notice that the scanner shows that each of the rocks has a different percentage of hadenite, similar to what you see for the rocks you mine with the prospector and mole. Later in another video, we'll have to do more investigation about these rock sizes and content percentages to see if it makes a difference on the amount of gems we get.
For science.
Now it's probably pretty obvious at this point, but they made a big change to the ships and their ability to scan for mineable rocks. Earlier, we took out the Avenger Titan when scanning for rocks and found a number of minables on the surface. So this does give some good capability to the other ships to operate as scouts, or at least be able to pick up the hand minables. Let's try to use the scanner directly on the rock and go to try to find the next rock, purely on the ground. I see one a little less than 3,000 meters away, so let's go after that one.
There's going to be a lot more changes to the scanners and scanning in the future, but this is a nice little addition for now.
The one thing I am disappointed with is its size. It would be nice if this rock could fit into the Titan or Reliant core. It would make a nice addition to a couple of those starter-like ships.
I suppose if you have enough money for a cutlass, then you could probably get a prospector for mining bigger, more profitable rocks. However, for the medium and larger ships with a ramp or lift, it's another vehicle that you can bring aboard and make available another gameplay alternative.
Very true. Putting alpha UEC per hour to the side, it's always nice to have another thing to do in the game.
I'm considering this a successful day 6 on MicroTech. Without the assistance of a ship to move the vehicle around, it would take considerable effort, but it's a gameplay activity we could definitely do long term here on the planet or surrounding moons.
We'll be experimenting more with this in the future to see how we do as a dedicated ground miner for fun and profit.
In the meantime, can I drive? I think my navigational computer would come in very handy.
I think this terrain is a little tricky, Mobi. You better leave this one up to a more seasoned professional.
I told you I should have driven. At least I have a photo souvenir of your seasoned professional driving.
The members of the READ organization are being extremely generous again and have donated an Aurora MR with game package for a giveaway. READ is involved with science, exploration, and engineering, which includes the mining mechanics that we currently have, as well as future salvage. They are also involved in trade and logistics, and have a defense division to keep your mining and cargo hauling safe. READ is a non-griefing or trolling organization that focuses on collaboration and emphasizes mutual respect for its org members and the community at large. To be eligible to win, just type in a comment to the video. Like and subscribe if you want to, feel free to use my referral code if you're wanting to get into Star Citizen, and I'll be talking to you later.